Chapter 1: The Betrayal. In a small town, there lived a young woman named Sarah. She was known for her kindness and her love for her family. Growing up, Sarah had always believed that family was the most important thing in life. She shared a close bond with her older brother, Tom. He was not just her brother. He was her protector, her confidant, and her best friend. They grew up together, sharing childhood dreams and teenage secrets. One sunny afternoon, while cleaning the attic, Sarah stumbled upon an old, dusty box. Curiosity sparked within her as she opened the box, revealing a collection of letters tied with a faded ribbon. As she read through the letters, her heart sank. The letters were filled with secrets that shattered her understanding of her brother. The words revealed how Tom had betrayed their family in a terrible way. Sarah felt a wave of disbelief wash over her as she read the words. The letters detailed how Tom had stolen money from their parents over the years. Sarah could hardly believe what she was reading. How could her brother, the one she admired, do something so cruel? Confusion and anger bubbled up inside her as she processed the betrayal. She had always looked up to Tom, trusting him completely. Now everything she believed about him felt like a lie, torn between love and betrayal. Sarah knew she had to confront Tom. She needed answers, and she wanted to understand why he would hurt their family like this. She felt a storm of emotions swirling inside her. That evening, she waited anxiously for Tom to come home from work. Her heart raced as she thought about the confrontation ahead. She felt a mix of fear and determination. When Tom walked in, Sarah took a deep breath. "We need to talk," she said, her voice shaking slightly. Tom looked surprised but nodded, sensing the seriousness in her tone. They sat down in the living room, the air thick with tension. Sarah could feel her heart pounding in her chest. "I found the letters," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom's expression changed instantly. His face paled as he realized what she meant. "You shouldn't have looked in there," he replied, avoiding her gaze. "Why did you do it, Tom?" Sarah demanded, tears welling in her eyes. She felt a storm of emotions swirling inside her, anger, sadness, and confusion. Tom sighed deeply, his shoulders slumping. "I was desperate, Sarah. I thought I could fix things," he said, his voice filled with regret. Sarah felt her heart ache as she listened to him. "You ruined our family's trust. How could you think this was okay?" Tom looked ashamed, but Sarah couldn't find it in her heart to forgive him. "I can't believe you would hurt us like this," she said, feeling betrayed. They sat in silence, the weight of Tom's actions hanging heavily between them. After their conversation, Sarah felt a whirlwind of emotions. She loved her brother but was furious at his betrayal. She needed time to think and process everything. Days passed, and Sarah avoided Tom as much as she could. Each time she saw him, anger bubbled inside her. She felt like she was losing a part of herself, a part that once cherished Tom. One night, as she lay in bed, Sarah stared at the ceiling. Thoughts raced through her mind and she felt overwhelmed. She thought about her family and how Tom's actions affected everyone. "I need to do something," she whispered to herself. It was time to take a stand for her family. She couldn't let Tom's betrayal go unpunished. They deserved better. Sarah decided to gather evidence of Tom's wrongdoings. She wanted to confront him again, but this time with proof. It felt like a heavy weight was lifting as she made her decision. The next day, she started her search, going through old documents and talking to family friends. She felt determined to uncover the truth and make her brother face the consequences. As she pieced together the story, Sarah realized how much pain Tom had caused. Her heart ached for their parents, who had trusted him completely. She felt the weight of their disappointment. With her evidence in hand, Sarah felt a sense of purpose. She knew she had to confront Tom again, but this time she would be ready. She felt empowered by her decision. I can't let him get away with this, she thought, feeling the fire of determination inside her. She planned to gather the family and reveal everything to them. That evening, Sarah called a family meeting. Her parents and Tom were surprised but agreed to come. Her heart raced at the thought of what was to come. When everyone was seated, Sarah took a deep breath. I have something important to share, she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. She felt anxious but determined. It's about Tom, she said, looking directly at him. Tom shifted uncomfortably in his seat, sensing the tension in the room. He has been lying to us, she declared firmly. Her parents looked confused, glancing at Tom with concern. What do you mean? Their mother asked, worry etched on her face. Sarah took a deep breath, ready to reveal the truth. I found letters that prove he stole money from you, she said, holding up the evidence. The room fell silent as her words sank in, the shock palpable in the air. Chapter 2: The Confrontation. Tom's face turned red with anger and shame. This is ridiculous, he shouted, trying to defend himself. You don't know what you're talking about. But Sarah stood her ground, feeling the weight of her evidence. I have proof, Tom. You can't deny it, she said, her voice unwavering. Their parents looked shocked, disbelief written all over their faces. How could you do this to us? Their father asked, his voice trembling with hurt. Tom looked down, unable to meet their gaze. He felt the weight of their disappointment pressing down on him. I was trying to help, he shouted, desperation creeping into his voice. You don't understand what I was going through. But Sarah knew the truth and felt her anger rising. You hurt us, Tom. You betrayed our trust, and now we have to deal with the consequences, she said, tears streaming down her face. The pain of betrayal was overwhelming for her. Their mother started to cry, her heart breaking for the family they once were. I can't believe this is happening, she sobbed, feeling lost and betrayed. Sarah felt her own heart ache for her mother. Tom's anger turned to regret as he realized the pain he had caused. I'm sorry, he whispered, but the damage was done. The trust that once held them together was shattered. The family sat in silence, the atmosphere thick with tension. Each person processed the revelation in their own way. Sarah felt a mix of relief and sadness wash over her. After the meeting, Sarah retreated to her room. She felt exhausted, both mentally and emotionally. The confrontation had taken everything out of her. Days passed, and the house felt different. The laughter that once filled the rooms was replaced by an uncomfortable silence. Sarah missed the warmth of their family bond. She tried to talk to her parents, but they were distant, lost in their own thoughts. Tom had moved out, leaving a void that was hard to fill. Sarah felt the weight of his absence. What will happen to us? She wondered, staring out the window. The world outside seemed unchanged, but her life had turned upside down. She felt lost in a sea of uncertainty. One evening, Sarah decided to reach out to her friends. She needed support and someone to talk to about her feelings. She felt isolated and overwhelmed. When she met her best friend Lily at the cafe, Sarah poured her heart out. I don't know how to deal with this, she admitted, tears brimming in her eyes. Lily listened intently, offering comfort. It's okay to feel this way, Lily reassured her. You're not alone in this. You have to focus on healing. Sarah appreciated her friend's words, feeling a bit lighter. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah tried to find a new normal. She threw herself into her studies, hoping to distract herself from the pain. But the memories of Tom lingered. One day, while cleaning her room, Sarah found an old photo album. She hesitated before opening it, fearing what memories it might bring back. But curiosity got the better of her. Flipping through the pages, she saw pictures of happier times. There were photos of family vacations, birthday celebrations, and candid moments filled with laughter. Each picture reminded her of the bond she shared with Tom. It was hard to reconcile those joyful memories with the betrayal she now felt. Her heart ached with conflicting emotions. How could he do this? She thought, feeling anger rise within her. The betrayal overshadowed all the good times they had shared. It felt like a dark cloud hanging over her. Determined to heal, Sarah began journaling her thoughts and feelings. Writing became a therapeutic outlet for her. She poured her heart onto the pages, trying to make sense of everything. One night, as she wrote, she realized she needed to confront her feelings about Tom. She couldn't keep living in the past. She had to find a way to move forward. I need to understand why he did this, she thought. It was time to seek closure, even if it meant facing the pain again. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was ready. Sarah decided to reach out to Tom. She hesitated, unsure of how to start the conversation. But deep down, she knew it was necessary for her healing. I want to talk, she texted him, her heart racing. After a few moments, Tom replied, Okay, when and where? They agreed to meet at their favorite cafe, a place filled with memories. On the day of the meeting, Sarah felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation. She arrived early, her mind racing with thoughts of what would happen. Would they be able to talk things through? When Tom walked in, he looked different, humbled and remorseful. Hey, he said softly, taking a seat across from her. Sarah could see the pain in his eyes, and it stirred something within her. I'm sorry for everything, he said, his voice shaky. Sarah felt a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a glimmer of hope. It hurt us, Tom. You broke our trust, she replied, her heart heavy. Tom nodded, tears welling in his eyes. I know, and I regret it every day, he said, his voice filled with sorrow. I want to make things right, but I understand if you can't forgive me. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. It will take time, but I'm willing to try, she said, feeling a flicker of hope. They both knew healing would be a long journey ahead. Chapter 3. The Decision. After their conversation, Sarah felt a whirlwind of emotions. She had opened a door to healing, but it felt daunting. The journey ahead seemed long and uncertain. Tom looked at her, his eyes filled with hope and regret. Thank you for giving me a chance, he said softly. Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of their shared history. They agreed to meet regularly, each time discussing their feelings and working through the pain. It was a slow process, but Sarah felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. As the weeks passed, their meetings became a safe space for both of them. They shared stories, tears, and laughter, slowly rebuilding their relationship. Sarah began to see glimpses of the brother she once knew. One evening, as they sat in the cafe, Tom opened up about his struggles. I felt lost and overwhelmed, he admitted. I thought I could solve my problems in the wrong way. Sarah listened intently, her heart aching for him. You could have come to us, she replied gently. We would have helped you through it. Tom nodded, tears streaming down his face. I know that now. I was too proud and scared to ask for help, he confessed. Sarah felt a mix of compassion and frustration. Trust takes time to rebuild, she reminded him. We can't erase the past, but we can learn from it. Tom agreed, understanding the long road ahead. As they continued to meet, Sarah noticed changes in Tom. He was more open and vulnerable, willing to confront his mistakes. It made her heart swell with cautious optimism. One day, Sarah suggested they involve their parents in the healing process. They deserve to know you're trying to change, she said. Tom hesitated but eventually agreed. That weekend, they invited their parents over for dinner. Sarah felt nervous, unsure of how her parents would react. She wanted to create a supportive environment for everyone. As they gathered around the dinner table, the atmosphere was tense but hopeful. Tom took a deep breath and began to speak. I want to apologize for everything, he said, his voice shaking. Their parents listened intently, their expressions a mix of concern and hope. I've been working on myself, Tom continued, and I want to make things right. Their mother's eyes filled with tears as she heard her son's words. We've missed you so much, Tom, she said, her voice choked with emotion. We just want you to be okay. The conversation flowed, and for the first time in a long time there was a sense of healing in the air. Sarah felt a weight lift off her shoulders as they shared their feelings. Later that night, as Sarah lay in bed, she reflected on the evening. It had been a difficult journey, but she felt a sense of progress. They were moving toward healing together. The following weeks were filled with ups and downs. Some days, Sarah felt hopeful, while others were filled with doubt. She knew healing was not linear. It would take time. One afternoon, while walking home from school, Sarah ran into an old friend, Mark. They hadn't seen each other in years, and she felt a rush of nostalgia. Hey, Sarah! He called out, waving. They chatted about life, and Sarah found herself smiling. It felt good to connect with someone outside her family's struggles. Mark noticed the change in her demeanor. You seem different, he said, genuine curiosity in his eyes. Sarah hesitated but decided to share a bit about her situation. It's been a tough time, but I'm trying to heal, she explained. Mark listened attentively, offering support. If you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here, he said, and Sarah appreciated his kindness. It felt good to know she wasn't alone. As days turned into weeks, Sarah continued to focus on her healing journey. She attended therapy sessions and leaned on her friends for support. Each step felt empowering. One evening, while journaling, Sarah wrote down her feelings about forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, she penned. It means letting go of the anger for my own peace. She realized that forgiveness was a gift she could give herself, not just Tom. It was about freeing her heart from the burden of resentment. The realization felt liberating. The next time she met Tom, she shared her insights. I'm learning about forgiveness, she said, her voice steady. It's not easy, but I want to try. Tom looked inspired by her words. I want to work on myself too, he replied. I don't want to be that person anymore. They both felt a renewed sense of purpose, ready to face the challenges ahead. As they continued their journey, Sarah found strength in vulnerability. She learned to express her feelings openly, allowing herself to be honest about her pain. One afternoon, while sitting in the park, Sarah and Tom talked about their childhood memories. They reminisced about the fun times they had shared, laughter echoing in the air. Remember that summer we built a treehouse? Tom asked, grinning. Sarah laughed, feeling warmth spread through her heart. Yeah, we thought we were architects. Those moments of connection reminded her of the bond they once had. It fueled her determination to rebuild their relationship, brick by brick. As they continued to meet regularly, the bond between them grew stronger. They faced the past together, learning to navigate their feelings. It was a journey of rediscovery. One evening, Sarah decided to invite Tom for a family game night. "It'll be fun, and we need to laugh together," she suggested. Tom smiled, feeling grateful for the opportunity. The night was filled with laughter and joy, a stark contrast to the tension of the past. Their parents watched with tears of happiness in their eyes. It felt like a family reunion. As they played games and shared stories, Sarah felt a sense of belonging again. The warmth of family surrounded her, and she realized that healing was possible. "We're not perfect, but we're trying," she thought, feeling hopeful for the future. With each passing day, the wounds of the past began to heal, and love started to flourish once more. Chapter 4: The Healing. As spring blossomed, Sarah felt a renewed sense of hope. The days grew longer, and with each sunrise, she embraced the possibility of healing. It was a season of growth for her and her family. One afternoon, while sitting on the porch with Tom, they reflected on their journey. "I can't believe how far we've come," Tom said, a smile spreading across his face. Sarah nodded, feeling proud of their progress. "It hasn't been easy, but it's worth it," she replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. They both understood that healing takes time, but they were committed to the process. That evening, Sarah decided to write a letter to their parents. She wanted to express her gratitude for their support during this challenging time. Words flowed from her heart as she wrote. "Thank you for believing in us," she began, her pen gliding across the paper. "Your love has been our anchor in this storm." She felt a sense of relief as she poured her feelings onto the page. The next day, she presented the letter to her parents. As they read it, tears filled their eyes, and they embraced Sarah tightly. "We're so proud of you both," their mother said, her voice filled with emotion. Tom watched, feeling a wave of love wash over him. "I don't deserve this," he whispered, overwhelmed by their parents' forgiveness. Sarah squeezed his hand, reminding him that they were all healing together. As the weeks went by, Sarah and Tom continued to strengthen their bond. They shared more memories, laughed more often, and began to trust each other again. It felt like a new beginning. One day, Sarah suggested they volunteer together at a local charity. "It'll be a great way to give back and heal," she said, excited about the idea. Tom agreed, eager to contribute positively to their community. Volunteering became a regular activity for them. They helped at a food bank, distributing meals to those in need. Each time they served others, they felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Through their work, they met people with stories of resilience and hope. It opened their eyes to the struggles of others, reminding them of the importance of compassion. Sarah felt inspired by their strength. As they volunteered, Tom began to share his story with others. "I made mistakes, but I'm working to change," he would say, his voice steady. People responded with kindness, encouraging him on his journey. One afternoon, while sorting donations, Sarah noticed a young girl watching them. She looked sad and lost, and Sarah felt a pang of empathy. "Would you like to help us?" she asked gently. The girl nodded, her eyes lighting up. Sarah handed her a small box of toys. "You can help us organize these," she said, smiling. The girl's face broke into a grin, and Sarah felt a warmth in her heart. As they worked together, Sarah learned the girl's name was Lily. She was shy but eager to help, "Thank you for letting me join," Lily said, her voice barely above a whisper. Sarah knelt down to her level. "You're doing great, Lily. We're glad to have you here," she encouraged. It reminded Sarah of the importance of kindness and connection. That day, Sarah realized that healing wasn't just about her and Tom. It was about lifting others, too. They were building a community of support, one small act of kindness at a time. As summer approached, Sarah felt a sense of renewal. The warmth of the sun mirrored the warmth in her heart. She felt grateful for the journey she had taken with her family and friends. One evening, they organized a family gathering to celebrate their progress. "Let's honor our journey," Sarah suggested. Her parents agreed, excited to bring everyone together. They prepared a potluck dinner, inviting friends and family to join. The house was filled with laughter, delicious food, and the joy of connection. Sarah felt a sense of belonging. As they sat around the table, Sarah spoke up. "I want to thank everyone for your support," she said, looking at her family and friends. "We've come so far, and it's because of all of you," Tom added. "I'm grateful for the chance to rebuild our family. Your love means everything to me." Their parents beamed with pride, feeling a sense of unity among them. After dinner, they shared stories and memories, reminiscing about happier times. It felt like a celebration of resilience and love, a testament to their journey together. As the night drew to a close, Sarah felt a sense of peace envelop her. They had faced darkness together and emerged stronger. She looked around the room, feeling grateful for each person present. "This is just the beginning," she thought, her heart full of hope. They had turned a painful chapter into one of healing and growth. It was a beautiful transformation. In the following months, Sarah continued to focus on her personal growth. She pursued her passions, explored new hobbies, and embraced the joy of living fully. Each day felt like a gift. Tom also worked on himself, attending support groups and engaging in self-reflection. He was determined to become a better person, not just for himself but for his family. One day, while walking in the park, Sarah spotted Lily again. The young girl ran up to her, excitement shining in her eyes. "I've been helping at the food bank too," she exclaimed. Sarah felt a surge of pride for Lily. "That's amazing. You're making a difference," she said, her heart swelling with joy. It was a reminder that their efforts were inspiring others. As the seasons changed, Sarah and Tom's bond deepened. They became each other's confidants and supporters, navigating life's challenges together. The trust they had rebuilt was unshakable. One evening, they sat on the porch, watching the sunset. "I'm so glad we're in this together," Sarah said, feeling grateful. Tom smiled, knowing they had overcome so much. "No matter what happens, we'll face it together," he replied, his voice filled with conviction. Sarah felt a sense of security in those words, knowing they would always have each other's backs. As they gazed at the horizon, Sarah realized that healing was a continuous journey. It wasn't about forgetting the past, but learning from it and growing stronger. "We're a family," she thought, feeling a sense of belonging. Together they had faced adversity and emerged victorious. Their love was the foundation of their healing journey. In the end, Sarah understood that life would always have its challenges. But with love, support, and resilience, they could overcome anything. Their story was one of hope and redemption,